we welcome everyone to today's hearing on the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Nels, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Would all stand?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank the gentleman for leading us, and sorry to hear of his recent announcement. He's not going to be running for re-election, but glad to have him with us here today. We'll start with opening statements, then we'll get right to our witnesses and to today's hearing. February 2nd, 2021, the FBI was given, I think it was just then when we were in the minority, just minority staff and members, a briefing on the 702 program. And I remember that in that briefing, I can't remember who asked the question, but one of us asked the question, how many agents, how many people at the FBI have access to the 702 data? The data that's collected in this database, surveilling foreigners, but all kinds of people get swept up, all kinds of Americans, U.S. persons get swept up in this. How many agents, how many people at the FBI can query, which I always point out is a fancy name for search, how many people can search this data? Their answer was 10,000 people. We didn't know what answer to expect, but we didn't quite expect that big of a number. I mean, if they'd have told us 3 people, I thought, well, that seems fairly small. If they'd have told us any number over 1,000, I would have said that's crazy. But they told us 10,000. We then said, how many queries? We found out we had the IG do a study and investigation. How many queries are these 10,000 agents, potentially 10,000 agents doing who have access to this information? How many are they doing on U.S. persons? And that answer from the IG was 3 million. 3 million in one calendar year, 2021. The IG also told us that 278,000 of those searches on U.S. persons were most definitely done in an improper way. And what that meant by improper is they didn't follow the rules Congress had set. They didn't follow the FBI rules. So they didn't follow our rules, and they didn't even follow their own rules when they were doing these unbelievable millions of searches, 278,000 definitely done improperly, and the potential of 10,000 people at the FBI to do those very searches. And who were they searching? Who are some of the people they searched? Well, the IG told us this as well. Journalists, people a part of Black Lives Matter, members of Congress, 19,000 political donors, ex-girlfriends. I mean, it was as obnoxious as you can imagine. And again, we're just talking about the 702. We're not even getting into Title I. We all know the problems with Title I, some of the things we learned a few years ago relative to surveilling a presidential campaign. We all know about that. We're just talking about 702. But all this is coming up, as everyone knows, for reauthorization, 702 program for reauthorization, but we can address the Title I as well. All that's coming due here in just 4 months. And so we felt it was important to have this hearing where we begin to talk about some of the things that still need to be done. I want to back up a second and say this. Last Congress, I do think the good work of this committee, some of our members working closely with in a working group with members of the House Intelligence Committee, I do think we had some good reforms that got put into the bill last Congress. And a lot of that's to do with the work of our witnesses here and the groups that they represent. And we appreciate that. We codified procedures to reduce improper queries. Last year, the number was down to 9,000 queries on U.S. persons. So important changes that were made to the 702 program, safeguards, protecting Americans' liberties, and of course, some changes also made to the Title I section of the FISA law as well. I know our ranking member knows this. I know every member of this committee knows this. We're the Judiciary Committee where we're supposed to be focused on protecting the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the liberties that we enjoy as Americans. We think it's important as we move forward that we do just that. And part of that is if you're going to search this database and you're going to search using an American's name, phone number, email address, we believe you should go to a separate and equal branch of government and get a warrant to do so. We think that's fundamental. Everyone knows that last Congress we were close to making that happen. close as you can get without making it there across 212 to 212. I'll never forget that vote. But we want to hopefully get that included in the reforms that we put together as we move forward over this next 4 months. But to start that effort, we've got some great witnesses here who we'll look forward to hearing. But I want to yield back now and let the ranking member have his opening statement, and then we'll get right to our great panel. With that, I yield to the gentleman from Maryland.
Thank you very much.